On Monday, July 20th, the British Columbia government announced its plan on regulating vape products. There are quite a few important changes that will affect vape shop owners across the province, so if you currently own or operate a vape business, this video is for you. Today, we're going to be going over everything you need to know about these new regulations and what changes you must make if you are operating a vape shop in British Columbia. First up, let's talk about submitting a Notice of Intent or NOI and reports. If you currently own or operate a vape shop, you must submit a Notice of Intent to sell e-substances to the Ministry of Health. This essentially registers the business as an age-restricted store and letting the ministry know that you will be selling vape products. For existing businesses, you must submit the NOI no later than August 3rd, 2020. If you do not submit an NOI by August 3rd, you may have to halt all sales until the Notice of Intent gets approved, which may take at least 6 weeks. For new businesses, you must submit a Notice of Intent at least 6 weeks prior to the first sale of restricted product. Once you submit a Notice of Intent, you must renew the notice annually before January 15th of each year that sales are intended to continue. Also, the Notice of Intent to sell e-substances form is required for each separate store. So say for example you have 3 locations, you must submit a notice for each store. We will link the Notice of Intent form in the description down below. On top of submitting a Notice of Intent to sell e-substances, you are also required to submit product information reports for each restricted product you wish to sell. These reports must contain the name and contact information of the manufacturer, the brand name and product name, type of product, ingredients and flavor, the nicotine concentration, and the capacity of the e-liquid. These reports must also be submitted by August 3rd. Now, if you're manufacturing e-liquid in BC, you must also submit a manufacturing report to the ministry. This must include the name and contact information of the manufacturer of each ingredient and both the common and scientific name of each ingredient. This must also be submitted by August 3rd, 2020 in order to continue manufacturing. And lastly, regulations will require business owners to report the volume of sales to the Ministry of Health annually before January 15th. This will be for sale periods beginning October 1st and ending on September 30th of the subsequent year. So, for example, if you're submitting the report for January 15th, 2022, the report will include the sales from October 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2021. And the report must contain the following information: the number of containers and cartridges sold divided by brand and product names, the total volume in milliliters, and the flavor of each product. You're able to submit all of these reports by email at vaping.info@gov.bc.ca. We will also have this email in the description down below. Now, let's talk about the changes to the product itself. These new restrictions also cover the content and packaging of vape products. Vendors are now unable to sell e-liquid with no nicotine content, so gone are the days of 0mg e-liquid. Also, e-liquid must not exceed 30ml bottles or 20mg nicotine strengths. On top of that, all products must comply with the new plain labeling and packaging requirements with mandatory health hazards and warnings. This translates to labels with no images and include the following information: the nicotine concentration, which again cannot be higher than 20mg per milliliter, the total volume, which cannot be greater than 30 milliliters, a warning that reads "Warning, nicotine is highly addictive," along with the warning symbol, the name and contact information of the manufacturer, the brand name and product name, and lastly the type of product, for example a pre-filled pod or a bottle of liquid. So after September 15th, 2020, all e-liquid bottles must look something like this. Retailers have until September 15th to sell off the remaining stock of non-compliant product. Vendors are also unable to advertise in any space that a minor can view it. This also means that if your shop has windows, you must not be able to see inside the store from the outside. So, fully frosting or covering your windows will be mandatory. And that essentially wraps up all the new regulation changes in the province of BC, and we know that's quite a lot to take in. That is why we decided to make this video and help you understand all of the changes. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us.